All right, guys. Welcome back to Commission Reviews, the queen of all reality TV. We have a special guest, Hussein. The king is on here. Um, it's time for his voice to be heard. It's time for you
Exactly.
guys to hear what he has to say. So the reunion, first of all, was insane, as we already know already. It was
Yeah.
crazy. Okay. So for you, in your opinion, I'm sorry, for your thoughts, I want you to get started and to tell how you feel because a lot of things were said, a lot of things were said about you, and you
Yeah.
weren't really able to defend yourself. So I want you to start out with whatever you want to start it, honestly.
All right. I'm gonna jump right into it. Of course, the big question, the incarceration thing. I'm gonna start with saying I've never been incarcerated a day in my life. Like, I don't understand where that came from. Me and her did have talks, but I never told her no crazy mess like that. But honestly, I don't even know. If you wanted to throw some shame on me and you was just, in your feelings, but that just wasn't cool.
So saying that you was incarcerated, tell me
Yeah.
about the how that affected you. You know, the show has been recorded, whatever. Once
Yeah.
it came out last night, how is it affecting you in your real life?
For me personally, just saying when she said it, I'm glad I got emotional control. But overall, it was just like my friends and family, to hear that, it was just kind of like, damn. Because in that moment, we could have went back and forth, and there's some things that I could have said, but instantly I thought, her son got to see this, her family got to see this, fan base, whatever it may be. So I didn't want to go there. So for her to do that to me was just, was crazy.
I feel like you're trying to protect her a lot with this whole situation, and
Yeah.
you were being a gentleman. So I think, in my opinion, I really think you should tell the truth and nothing but that. You were being very classy. You was there to find love. You did not find love. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the self-elimination because I know there's a lot behind that.
Okay.
Go ahead and talk your talk. How you feel about that? Everything you want to say.
All
Excuse
right.
me.
So the self-elimination thing. All right. So let me just jump back a little bit. I'm going to go into, because you know how they aired it. I wasn't really feeling that.
Mhm.
The day where we show up and we got like the matching top on, the tan tops or whatever, that was actually after the vote. That wasn't before the vote. I didn't like how they aired that and put it like, okay, we went on that date and then I went into the vote and said blah, blah, blah. Yeah, when I went into the vote, I felt my feelings about her bringing that up in front of my family. Yes, I'm entitled to that. I'm entitled to feel however I want to feel about this. But afterwards, I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but Cisco had mentioned to me, maybe you should, go hair out, go on a date, hair out, and see if, where things could go.
Mhm.
So, I sat with production and I agreed to that. We get to the date. I felt like we had a great date, even though I felt like they cut it and edited it to make it look cold. But we sat there and we had a really good date. Even the part where, she, teared up for a second, I don't think that was actually like the tears of emotion. I feel like it was just more so like in the moment, because I didn't beat on, the reason why we were there or whatever. It was just kind of like, we were just having a conversation. She actually started laughing,
Mhm.
like right afterwards.
Wow.
We completed the date. We finished the date. We actually walked away. We hugged, held hands, walking away and everything. But like I said, they don't show that. They just cut it to make it look like a cold date. So then, I leave that thinking, all right, we're going to go forward. If anything, we'll get to the end and we'll figure it out there, because we didn't finally had the conversation. Because honestly, I didn't like that we didn't have the conversation right after she mentioned the situation. And let me say this about the baby father, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Black men have been through things, and incarceration or whatever it is, that wasn't the issue at all. The issue was just I felt like you held on to a lie. And to bring it up in front of my family, and when you said it, you see her instantly just look at me and go, we ain't talk about that. We talked many times about our families and stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't ask exactly where her baby father is. I don't know, like, who really digs into that. Hey, is your baby father in jail? That's not really a question when you sit down. I feel like that's like, if that's your thought, then I don't need to be dealing with you. But like I said, we had that conversation, and you just made it seem to me like he was, non-existent and
Right.
just not handling his business. So I left it at that. Not going to beat a dead horse or whatever. It was just that. So for her to say later on, we didn't speak about it and things like that, we did. But I don't think the onus should have been on me to exactly ask that exact question. I just felt like you should have shared that with me.
So as far as I want to go back to the incarcerated situation. I
Yeah.
know that you need to break that down for people to understand. Why did she say that? You said it's not true. Obviously, I did look him up. My team looked him up. He has not been in jail.
Thank you.
He has not. A real journalist is going to do
Jeez.
research and not assume. But I want you to, because a lot of people are
Yeah.
saying, even if it's a lie, she had to get something for something. And
Yeah,
you,
from
you have
somewhere.
a story. So what do you want to say about that?
Honestly, I did a lot of thinking. I think it was just a spiral event, because when she mentioned about the you eliminating me because of my baby daddy, or, situation or whatever, you can hear me in the background repeatedly saying it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I didn't care about that situation at all. Like I said, for me, it was just a lie. To say where she got that from, I don't know. Do I know what her intent behind what she did? Of course, we didn't make it together. So now you come to the reunion trying to get your 15 minutes of fame and throw salt on my name, but that wasn't cool at all.
Are you willing to kind of allude to what you actually told her without telling every detail to see why?
All right, so I mean, if we can get to it without telling every detail, it's kind of like some things were used. I will say that. I ain't gonna say exactly what it was, but everybody do they do. You drink, you smoke, or whatever, but things that you do should not affect you and another person. And that's what was going on a lot during our dating. It was a lot of, I had to remind her that was getting annoying to me. I noticed it a lot in the beginning, but I was just kind of like, maybe it's the, the nerves, or I don't know. I can't even make an excuse for it. I guess that's just an answer, for her to answer. But I honestly got tired of every time me and her would have a conversation, I forgot. Can you remind me? It was just kind of like one of them things. So
was there a particular reason why she was kind of like not there 100%?
Honestly, I don't know. Like I said, that's something for her to answer. I mean, they know what that was. I got to see, the reunion now. I see that, Tay put a battery in her back. I don't think that, that helped. I mean, they knew what they were doing. And it's just kind of like, it's kind of one of the things you ever felt like you went to a party and everybody drunk and you got to catch up. That's how I felt sitting here. It was kind of like, damn, I'm sober as hell and all this is going on. So it was just like, I got punched in the face with that. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just glad that I'm emotionally stable enough to, take that. Cause that was very hard to sit through, to sit there and hear somebody, lying on your name, knowing this is going to be on TV was crazy, but I wasn't going to allow somebody else to get me outside of myself. And that was something, as a kid, my dad always taught me, like, never allow somebody else to get you outside of yourself. And I literally had to, take a breath and think of those words from him and, put that into play.
Everybody's saying that you sent Rose home. I know you want to talk about that as well.
Yeah. Like I said, that's essentially about, she said, you ain't fight for me. Me fighting for you was going on that date that we went on after the, after the vote. Like I said, I get there the next day and I guess her and Cam had a date that morning, something that I knew nothing of. I sat there and I watched that date or whatever. And you could clearly hear her say to Cam, me and Hussein had a good date last night. And I feel like her giving me my flowers in that moment didn't help her with him.
Okay.
That's how I honestly feel. Cause it was like, kind of like, and not to throw it on him, but it's kind of like when he said it, I felt like it was more so in a defense to stop her from where she was going. Okay. Because with her, it was never a thing of taking accountability. They're sitting there, they having that date, they feel the way they feel. She brings me up and then they go into the, what's the horror state in your room and blah, blah, blah. And then he went into the fellas feel like you're not ready to love. She was my top pick and his top pick. Right. The math ain't mathing, but it is what it is. Like I said, they cut it to make it look like I did that. And that wasn't the case. So that's what led to the self-elimination, like I said, the next day. And it had nothing necessarily to do with her and my feelings for her. It was production, you're not going to play with me. Y'all knew from the beginning my walk was going to be my walk. Y'all wasn't going to do me how y'all was doing a couple other people, putting words in their mouth and telling them what to do and stuff like that. What I did was what I was going to do. So when I got there that next morning, I'm walking in. You see Kiera ask me like, hey, Hussein, what's up? And I'm looking around because I'm looking for her. I'm like, I don't know. I'm confused. So I sit down and I'm still trying to figure out, like what's going on as we're recording. And they didn't show this part as well. As we all stepping out of that bar to go on to, the next scene where I had to go meet Angie, you see Cam pull me to the side. And that's when he informed me, hey, I sent her home and blah, blah, blah. And I was stunned. It was kind of like, if anything, why wouldn't I have wanted to do that? She was my main connection. Why wouldn't I have wanted to sit down with her and send her home? I didn't see the live that I was on with her and Lex because I hung up because I felt where it was going and her whole antics or whatever. So I hung up. But I did hear her say that production told her that I told them that I didn't want to send her home and all this and that. That's so untrue. At any point was that the case? Because like I said, I'd have been the one to sit down and do it. And if you were to go home, there would have never been that date that night. Wow. You'd have just been sent home. So like I said, with me feeling like they wanted to play, that was my thing. All right, well, we're not going to do anything more than this because y'all didn't already put your hand in my process. And I didn't come here for that.
So what was the okay? So people need to know the reason why you was turned off by her. If people are making all these assumptions, there's a
Yeah.
little bit more than that. So I want you just to expound on that a bit to the best of your ability.
I mean, like I said, it just always, I felt like I got one person doing recording and another person outside of. And that weekend when we went away, there was a lot that went on and a lot of things that I got to actually see. Like Tommy said, a lot comes out,
Mm-hmm.
during the weekend, and a lot did. And I was surprised. I mean, she was my roommate, so I got to see her firsthand or whatever. And it was just, like I said, a big surprise to me. Like I said, I didn't mind having a date to figure out if we could see where we could go with it. But it was just always the other side of her that was rearing its ugly head that I just didn't want to, stand for.
And the reason why I'm asking is because she's gonna come out with her own, and she's gonna
Yeah.
probably tell,
And that's fine.
So that's why I was asking you what.
Yeah.
Now I do have some messages here that I'm gonna show, and so I'm gonna read my live. You actually these messages to Rose.
Okay.
Now it's probably not in order, so I apologize. But the first message I have here, let me share the screen first. So sorry, my camera. We have a storm happening right here in Texas, so my camera keeps going out. So I
Okay.
apologize about that. So let me share this real fast and then try to get my camera back on. All right. So on this first message, this goes, you did, but at a point it's getting ridiculous because it's not true. Yes, it really hurt me to get to the set the next day and not see you. And you can see on the episode where Kiara asked me, what's wrong? I was really confused, as I said to her, because you weren't there. If me sending you home was the truth, I wouldn't have self-eliminated. As production was pissed, I decided to do that. But they knew what they did. This experience for me wasn't about making it to the end, but about finding my person. And even with the one thing we experienced, I thought I found her. I honestly feel like you owe me an apology. And this is bigger than some show because I'm sure you wouldn't like me putting your truth out there. So did you want to expound a little bit? That's heavy. Just got
Yeah.
a little bit long.
That there was just simply about, the reunion. I think the break hurt a lot. And then, coming into the reunion, after the reunion, like me and her, I had hit her up and we had met up for, lunch or whatever. We sat down and talked. I don't remember if it was an apology or whatever, but we had a cool conversation and me and her were good after that. So then now the show's back on TV and that part is about to air. I want to say like a week before that, me and her was having conversation. You can see in like posts that I was posting. They're actually still on my gram.
Mm-hmm.
Her commenting on them, LOL, and I'm commenting on her. So I thought we was like in a good space. Then, this crazy reunion airs and I see her playing a part inside of the Ready to Love group where things are going to get posted.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, where's this energy coming from? I felt like, honestly, yeah, we had already recorded. It was going to be what it was going to be. Just let it play out. But for you to jump back into it and dig into it was kind of like, I just felt like it was just, just a slap in the face.
So there's other messages I want to read, especially it's really soft, especially in the beginning. You said I really cared about you as a person. I believe that through filming, I showed you that you never had to worry about anyone else, even with production's antics. Did you bringing up your son's father in front of my family bother me? Yes, because I felt like it was something you kept from me. And let me say once again, it had nothing to do with him being in jail, but simply bringing it up the way you did. I didn't take it to the vaults. I was told I had to speak on it because clearly they highlighted it. They highlighted it, and you said we didn't talk about it. After I spoke it at the vault, I told them I want another date to get us right. And that's what I truly believe we were doing on that date, as they told me. But this is what I need to say. It actually wasn't your son's father issue that was the issue for me. It was something else and drinking you were doing during filming that bothered me. I knew that something was off because I had to constantly remind you of everything because you were so forgetful. You couldn't remember anything we spoke about and would ask me to remind you. When we got to the house and you pulled them, I'm sorry, got to the house. I'm sorry, got to the house and you pulled them out. Everything made sense to me. And honestly, I was kind of bothered that you offered me that without asking. Now, audience, I want you to know we're not going to mention what this particular name of it is, but it's something that can alter things in somebody, right? And we'll just leave it at that. So, do you want to speak more about that? Because this thing about it, what I want everybody to understand is that it's not all out. It's not on the network. It's not on the reunion, but he's actually protecting her even in this moment. So go ahead and speak on it.
Yeah, like I said, that was the thing. like I said, the baby father thing, that was something small. This is Philly. Us black men, we've been through different things. It wasn't that. I was really trying to protect her.
Yes.
So like I said, even when she went into her rant, I could have spoke my real truth and told her on stage or blew it all up. But that wasn't for me to do. It was just trying to keep her okay. But, you know, it wasn't the same for me.
No. At the end of the day, she wasn't trying to protect you at all. That's why I feel like you were being such a gentleman and trying to protect her. Like you really are, no shade. And I
Yeah.
don't think she realized that. She's probably gonna go online and say a whole bunch of stuff. That's why I wanted him to have the opportunity to talk. I think it's the last one. Make sure it's the same thing. I think it's the
Yeah.
last one. Yes, the last one. Let me see. All went to the W and you were passed out throwing up everywhere and everyone left you on the chair. But I stopped my right to make you I'm sorry. Wait, what did it say? Everyone left you in the chair, but I stopped my night to make sure you got home safe and was okay. And that was not on me to do, but my respect for you meant more than a fun night out. It's crazy that I have to hold my truth because I don't want you to deal with the backlash. But it gets to a point where you're disrespecting me and I showed you nothing but pure love. And to be clear, I have never been incarcerated or locked up a day in my life. What I shared with you was a court that I had attended to get my belongings back from my home, and the cop that tired tried to false claims on me and get me in trouble. But for you to lie and say I was incarcerated and everything else you said was crazy. And yes, when you said it, the part of me that wanted to say my truth, but I still let you do what you did. At this point, it's getting ridiculous because it's not true. Yes, it really hurt me to get to set next day and not see you. Yeah, well, I said that right. That's part.
Yeah, that was a part of the other heart.
Right.
And this message here, this message was really, like I said, I sent her this message last week. It was literally a couple of days before the reunion had aired, and I see that she was, like I said, playing a part in the messages. And it was just like kind of like damn, I deserve that. like I said, we were good. We hung out. I got plenty of videos of us, even like at the bars, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, hanging out days after before that. So when we get to the reunion, I get this flip. I honestly, I'm flabbergasted about it. I can't really explain it. And you can see actually, there's a part of the reunion when me and her first get up there. I kind of do this fake laugh thing that I do, and I actually used it to lean over to speak into her ear because I knew where she was or whatever. So I was just like, you know what? I got this, Rose, let me lead the way or whatever. That went right out the window. And I just felt like it was a whole bunch of defense. And like I said, that led to her saying what she said. And honestly, when she said that, for real, I was honestly, if I could have left the reunion, I would have, but I was really done with it after that point.
You were done. Period. Like after the retreat, everything, you were just done. So yeah. I want you to talk about your journey because you actually were looking for love. You said that more than one time. And I want you to expound on that too, because you were looking for love and you just, for her to say she felt like she got cheated out of everything. And that's the narrative everybody's saying. To be fair, the Rose edit, it does look like she was cheated out of something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you also was as well. So I want you to kind of talk about that also, because you were looking for love.
Like I said, it's a two-sided thing. We were both cheated out of this. Like I said, I didn't come into this with no crazy intentions. As you see me, I'm on the show. I could have bought a different person. If you know what I mean, I could have been on here having fun. From what I saw before, I thought what I was going to get with this show was grown and sexy. Not
exactly,
not what I walked into and what I was a part of. Everybody that I sat down with, I respected them, even if it was somebody that I could say that I wasn't necessarily interested in. Us going on a date and having a conversation is still okay. So that's where I wanted to keep it. It wasn't like, because there were, a couple of people where I really wasn't interested in, but I didn't tell production, I don't like her. I don't want to sit down with her, because it's okay. You can sit down and, hey, you might, find something interesting in that person, right, once you sit down. And I felt like I really handled Rose with care, especially after our date in the Red Room, where I felt like we shared the same story, our background.
Yes,
and she shared that. So my intentions, like I said, with this show, besides the obvious of wanting to find love, was to show people that's coming behind me and been through what I've been through, that there's light outside of that once you get out of that, out of that place. So for you to think that my intentions was anything other than that is crazy.
What I want to ask you is, how did you feel about her spilling so much? This was a person that you really did have genuine feelings for, and you see her kind of crashing out to be honest. And then to speak about condoms on the floor with Cam, just a lot. I
Yeah.
want to know,
Yeah.
as a man sitting there, because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you weren't privy to that information. You weren't showing a lot of emotion, but or anything, but still, it's a shocker. Like, wait, what? This was going on. How did
Yeah.
you feel about all that? That was a lot.
In my head, a lot was going on. I was taking in all of it. I was, like I said, I just wanted to make sure that I kept myself cool while she was up there spazzing and doing what she was doing. It really was a shocker. I was honestly, and I'm gonna say this, I was embarrassed for her. If
Oh
I could have
wow.
grabbed her and gave her a hug and set her down, I would have.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt so disrespected. It was kind of like,
Right.
you said what you did. Why am I going to do this? But this old good heart of mine, I was still feeling that way. So like I said, even afterwards, we had a conversation, and I didn't have to have that conversation,
Right.
but I still did it.
So did it bother you to actually hear that? I mean, I'm not sure how long ago. I know the reunion you taped
Yeah,
right after.
it really bothered me because, one, like I said, I was sitting there and I was trying to, if she'd have let me talk, because you hear me say, like I said, you hear me say it wasn't about that.
Right.
I would have got to expand on what it was, and just the simple fact of, I just felt like you kept alive from me that we all spoke about. But I don't know what was in her head and what was going on, but I felt like she was trying to cut me off from saying something and just going to say, oh, well, you were incarcerated yourself. One, do you know what incarcerated mean? Incarcerated means like you're really in prison, like in prison. And I'm just like, I was so stunned by it, it really shut me up. Like I really didn't know what to say because I didn't want the wrong words to come out. So it was just like one of them things.
Right.
If you see, I turned around real slow and just looked at her. Like I really felt my body heat up. And it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
wow. But we see these things on these shows where if a situation don't go right, the next best thing to do is to try to throw salt on that person.
So I want everybody to understand this also, because I don't want to give the details. I know the details because then I protect family, but I want them to understand you did have an intimate conversation to her that she took that and ran with it. The story had nothing to do with you. You was a minor at the time, but you weren't involved with any criminal activity with someone else. I want you to stay in that realm where I'm at. You see what I'm saying? Without giving,
I get what you're saying.
I'm protecting everybody as well, but I want them to understand that you told her some information and she took that and said, oh, you was incarcerated. So I want you to at least give them a little something, but not without giving too much.
Yeah. Like I said, besides what I shared a lot with her. Like I shared with her like my group home experience, and I shared with her, while I was there, dealing with, the times of being, adolescent and things with my mom and stuff like that. So to share that and for somebody to throw that back in your face, because you hear me say after she said it, it was just like, this is why, and I'm just going to speak for Black men, we don't share personal or certain things, because the first time things are not in your favor, the first thing that you're going to jump to is to throw back in my face what I said to you. But if you were going to share it, at least share it correctly. Don't create your own narrative, because like I said, that was just beyond me. And you wanted to get loud, and I didn't feel like the reason to get loud because nobody was shouting. I was just sitting there. But you wanted to make sure that you got that point across. And I hope whatever that you wanted to gain out of it, that you got it.
And I remember in the beginning you said that Tay was kind of gaslighting her, which I was kind of surprised about myself. Because I'm not sure how your relationship is with the other ladies on the show. Are you close to anybody else on the show?
If I had to say close, people that I actually spend time with after the show would be Sahara, Angie, Cam, and Khalil for the most part. I've seen a couple of them, out and about or whatever, but it's not really. Right. But I will tell you, it was surprising too when the reunion aired to see Tay putting that battery in her back. I feel like Tay had her own things to be worried about.
Oh shit!
To be focused on what Rose had going on, and you put a battery in her back for her to make a fool of herself.
Damn.
And like I said, I'm only speaking the truth, but that's what it looks like. You put that battery in her back for her to simply make a fool of herself up there. And when you put that battery in her back and you saw it get activated, you should have been the first person to stop her as a friend. But like I said, that's just my opinion. That's something that I would have done. Because there were times, I'm gonna tell you, when I was in the back or I was around Khalil and I was around Cam and I could see them going a certain place, I'm in my head like, please don't go there, don't do it. And had they done it, I would have leaned over like, nah, bro, don't go there.
Interesting. The retreat was also a big conversation as far as this season. I said, and many people said, that people were lit. When I seen people to women, the men were probably, had a little something, whatever it was, but It
Yeah.
was on the chill side. The women was doing a lot, the retreat and pretty much the whole season. I mean, as a man, I'm asking you, I would love to know your thoughts about that because you were there for the whole thing. You seem super
Yeah.
chill and super, I'm not gonna do too much. Tell me about that. Because there was a lot going on.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot going on. I'll say for me personally, when we were filming, I didn't intake anything. I wasn't drinking. Most of the time, when you saw a drink in my hand, it was either ginger ale or champagne because I know that's production's whole key to get you where they want to get you, and then you're just doing whatever. And I was very, very, very capital VERY
Wow,
explanation.
period. He's like, look, I am sober. I ain't got time.
Yeah, cautious of that.
Right.
So to sit in a room and see in slow motion of what's really going on,
Mm.
I didn't want no parts of that. And if I'm going looking for love and that's what I'm seeing, and like I said, at this big age, and of course nothing's going to be perfect. So don't get me wrong, nothing's going to be perfect. But if there are things that I could take away and I can pull away, and I don't want to deal with it because I see where it gets you, because who knows what situation that'll put us in.
Right.
That's it, like I said, I wouldn't want to deal with it, but I wish things would have turned out different, but it didn't.
The truth of the matter is, men, black men especially,
Yeah.
will put up with some stuff as far as women like drinking and doing whatever, but things that may alter, do too much. Most men would that's a turnoff. I'm just gonna be honest.
It's a turnoff. Like I said, the first thing we think about is what can that cause to me? What cause could that bring me to? You, like I said, because I've been there before.
Right.
Like I said, explaining the situation where, like I explained to her, where I had to go remove my property from a place where I was moving from, and I had to, you know how this goes. You have whenever you're moving out of a place, most of the time, if you went through the court, you have to call a cop to be present.
Yes.
For you to get your. That was the story. Where she went somewhere else, beyond me. But like I said, her point was to embarrass me or get ahead of what she might have thought was going to happen, and it wasn't. Because if you know me, and like I said, you've been around me. That ain't in my character. But I could tell she was trying to beat me to a punch that wasn't coming.
You were protecting her this whole entire time, even now. That's why I say I'm saying altered because you guys my audience is very smart without me having to say anything, but we're still being respectful because that's what he wants to do, and I have no problem with that. But I'm trying to make sure that you guys understand that if a man sees somebody doing something that can alter who they are, and you just take it how you want to take it, that is a turn off for men. It is. And now some men don't care, you drink,
especially when you see the effects of it. It's like,
right,
okay, you do it and it's whatever. But when I see that it shifts you, that's when I'm not okay with it. You know what I mean? That's kind of like if I'd had been on the set and been drunk or whatever, it wouldn't have been okay. So it was kind of like, here's the point. It was funny to me to see her send Ed home. I didn't like that at all. For them to send Ed home and try to draw up this drinking narrative and he drank too much and blah, blah, blah. No, he didn't. But for you to be the person to send him home and say that, it's kind of like the kettle. You know what I mean? That whole thing.
Because you're doing more than just.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
And see, you have to understand, like, I want to make sure you understand, he's not saying judging drinking. He's not saying any of that stuff.
No judge at all.
You know what I'm saying? It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
When I say alter, that means other things were involved.
Yeah, no judge at all.
Besides drinking.
I mean, I ain't gonna make it seem like I didn't drink, but when I did, and everybody will tell you this or did whatever, it was after we were done filming, like way beyond. But when 100%. We were filming, this is what you're going to get because I don't want any effects or something dumb to come out my mouth or, something that one of the ladies went the wrong way. You know what I mean? So that's how I played it. And
then the thing about it, he's being a gentleman right now because understand this: if a woman offers a man, if you just meet a man and you're offering something that can alter you, that would throw a man off. If he would, let's just switch it.
Yeah.
Let's say if he was the one that said, "Here, you want to try this?" I'm just gonna say, "Try this," and leave it at that.
Yeah, I get it.
They would have come at him so bad, like, "Oh, you trying to get her something." So that's why I'm just being honest.
Then I would have been arrested and incarcerated.
Yes. So that's why I'm putting the truth out there without.
You know what I mean?
Come on now, because it's not fair. Because if it was him, they would have came out with it. It probably been on film. Oh, well, he offered this to me.
Yeah,
what? It would have been on film. But see, for women, this whole situation is not out there. So we're doing it in a delicate way. You gotta put pieces together. What I'm trying to say, because to me, I didn't like it. To hear that, I could understand why he was like, "I'm good." Because a lot of men would have said, I just met you. You offered me this. How do you know I even deal with this?
Right.
You know my past
Do
because your
you like
past.
not
Your
just
family,
here?
I mean.
You know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is. And like I said, I didn't come here. I didn't come there for that. I knew I came with all the right motives.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, honestly, the way that I played it through being cool allowed production to play with it. Because there's no way I get to the end the way I do. But y'all made it seem like I didn't have no action. Now all of a sudden, and then like I said, we get to the end. Now I'm the main attraction. So if you were going to do this at the end, you should have kept it 100 from the beginning of who I actually was.
Right.
Not to hide my story and cut out and delete everything that I had going on to shine light on somebody else that it wasn't that.
What is it that you want people to know right now that have watched the reunion and probably watching everybody's lives, Instagrams, whatever is going on? What do you want to know about Hussein that was not shown, was not said?
The biggest thing for me, like I said, the first thing is I've never been incarcerated. I'm going to stand to like, I hate that. I'm a creative, and that's the part that they didn't get to. And like I said, that comes from me standing on my 10 toes and not doing what they wanted me to do. So a lot of me got erased. Like I said, with my intro, with my clothing line and everything. And like I said, it wasn't about being to my clothing line, but if you're going to introduce who I am, introduce who I am, love accordingly. Like that's what that is. Y'all did a whole filming at my production to delete that because I didn't go along with you with what you wanted me to do. So like I said, I'm a creative, I'm smart, and the biggest thing, I'm a gentleman. I think I showed that the whole way through.
You did.
Like I said, when you seen every woman speak of me, it was highly, including Rose when she wanted to cut off Deanna, saying I get a different side of him. But now we get to the reunion, and it's something totally different. But I didn't change up, so make it make sense.
Did you talk to Rose at all before the reunion? Right before the reunion, did y'all talk at all before or after?
We spoke a lot before the reunion. I actually seen her a week before the reunion. We went out together. So that's why I said when I got to the reunion, it was that energy. It was like, what the hell going on here?
Very confused. So you didn't even know that her and Cam was doing their thing or nothing, none of that.
Nah, you know what? I'm gonna say this. When I got to the reunion, Cam and all of them were already there.
Okay.
I walk in. I see Cam. He kind of had like this look on his face or whatever. He pulls me to the side and he shared with me that him and Rose had, they were together, been together, whatever case may have been.
Right.
Why he's sharing that information with me, I don't know. I could have cared less, and I think that's what I said to him when he said it to me. I was like, "What the hell are you sharing this with me for? I don't care. Big ups to y'all."
Right.
But if you're going to share with me now, when I get there, you should have been shared it with me because me and you are like cool. You could have been shared that with me. Not when we get here, when I'm gonna find out.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to ask you. To me, as a man, I'm not a man. Obviously, my fiance tell me how men are, and I had a father. To me, as a man, I'm not saying you can't with besties or anything like that, but just even that phone call, like, hey, bro, I know the reunion for to come up. Let me call you real quick, tell you what's been going on, just so you're not blindsided.
Yeah,
I don't understand why
and like I said, and this has nothing to do with roles or anything like that.
Right.
Man to man, I definitely would have appreciated that versus getting to set. And you tell me that it was kind of like a quick reminder of me getting to set the day before and finding out that, she was sent home.
Oh, wow. Same thing.
Yeah, like sort of like, like the same thing. But for me, like I said, because the feelings wasn't there for Rose, I didn't take it. No way. I don't hold nothing over his head. Like I said, we're good. We hang out and stuff like that. He's been, past my place. We watch. Cool. I've been past his place. We watch. Right. And it's just, that's water under a bridge.
That's good. I'm not saying it's a beef or anything. I'm just saying more of a look.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear. I've been past his place. We watch. Right. And it's just, that's water under a bridge.
That's good. I'm not saying it's a beef or anything. I'm just saying more of a look.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear it up for the people. So of course tomorrow it don't be. Oh, they got beef.
Right.
Ain't no beef.
No. I'm just saying as a courtesy. I thought it was a little strange that he didn't call you beforehand. What about you and Angie? Are y'all?
Yeah, me and Angie good. We hang. I felt like I got a different side of Angie once we left. Angie's dope as hell. I'm gonna say that.
She seemed like she is, to be honest.
Yeah, I felt like the thing with me and her, like we built a connection, later in the show. Me and her were good when it was just the two of us. And I said this, but when it was all of us within mixing the date, and I get it because I struggle with it a little bit too. Okay. And that's where the communication part came in, where they try to say I can't communicate. Clearly I can communicate. I've talked a lot, but it was a thing of, and I heard them say to somebody else, kind of like copy paste. If I got, let's say 2-3 connections, every conversation is going to be the same. Y'all hung somebody else for telling y'all all the same stuff, but that's what he has to do. If y'all getting to know each other, he has to share with all of y'all the same thing. He can't tell you one thing and you something else.
Right. I mean, it's okay. So you do know there's a copy paste thing for Red to Love, right? Corey from that season they call them copy paste.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Okay, I'm about to say. So to me, when
I get the
like,
copy paste, but what I mean by that is just necessarily trying to find a way to maneuver.
Okay.
Because really, like, let's just say we were really in the dating world and you maneuvering for these different women, that's not cool. The women wouldn't respect it. So now to try to flick that switch because you're doing a production or something like that, it's still kind of difficult to maneuver through.
Overall, how do you actually feel as far as, because to me, even though people are making a small deal about it, about saying that you was incarcerated, which you were not, how would it could affect everything? What if the job, who knows, right?
I'm dealing with that.
I'm
definitely dealing with that. And like I said, that could have been a part of my business. And I'm gonna say this, and I want to look directly at the camera, to own. And I know more so Ready to Love. Y'all know y'all do background checks. You know what I mean? And everything that's included, especially with own being, for us people.
Yeah.
For y'all to take that, y'all needed ratings that bad to make that the pilot for the reunion. Like I said, knowing y'all do background checks, because obviously if I had something, I couldn't have been a cast member. So for y'all to use jail on a black man as a pilot to go into the reunion is disgusting. Was it really that bad that that's what you had to use? I don't want no check from that or nothing, but I'm gonna tell you that was beyond disgusting as a black channel for us people to sit there and put a black man as the promotion for a reunion with jail. Y'all didn't have nothing else that y'all really had to jump to that to get the viewers that you needed. And I've seen, because people definitely had their popcorn, the ratings definitely went up. So for y'all to use ignorance for that, damn.
Is there anybody as far as the men on the show that you're not gelling with right now? I know that you said you mentioned Tay, and then you didn't really like what Tay did. So obviously she had something that she didn't like about you or something. I don't know, the way she kind of
like me and like I'm saying, me and Tay don't have an issue. Like I've been out with Tay like after the recording or whatever. Like I said, it's just funny to me to see who put the battery in her back.
Right.
But as far as not gelling, me and all the guys were cool. Like I said, it was me leaving. It was me, Cam, Khalil, and Cisco. Me and Cisco kind of, I don't know what happened, honestly. I don't know what happened. Me and him drifted, and
it happens.
I mean, I just feel as brothers, if I have something to say to you and you take it personal, then it was never a brother thing. Because if you were to say something to me, like we sat in that room and you said to me, even though I was standing on my 10 toes about how I felt about Rose, and you stepped in and wanted to say to me, well, yo, bro, you should give her a shot. I could have said to him whatever I wanted to say, bro. This is my You get what I'm saying?
Right. I got you.
So for me to come to you at a later date and feel like, just something that you were doing just wasn't okay and you took it personal, I don't know, but I don't have no malice towards him. I don't have no hate. Me and him, we don't speak.
And like I said, that happens with everybody. So all the men besides Cisco, everybody else is cool beans or whatever.
Yeah, everybody good.
And the women as well. And it seems like to me, you're Sahara. I love Sahara. I don't.
Yeah, Sahara.
I love her a lot.
My dog. Me and Sahara, we hang a lot. She's over here a lot. I mean, she come over, we kick it, we watch TV, we laugh. We go out, and it's fun being out with Sahara. Like we literally go out, say we're going to like Wawa or something. It's fun. We was out, and this guy go to holler at her. Then I'm coming outside, so I guess he thought that me and Sahara was together.
Right.
I'm just like, nah, bro. Like, go ahead. And she, of course, Sahara's going to do her thing. Oh, you going to let him talk to me as if we were together? So, like I said, but Sahara's just fun. Shout out to her.
No, I love.
And my mom. My mom loves Sahara. Sahara was up here. We went over to my mom's house.
Really?
My mom cooked her a whole meal, lemon drops and everything. Yeah, my mom loves
Wow. And see, to me, I'm gonna tell you, Sahara to me, she was one of my favorites. Rose was too, not to be funny thing, but Sahara was my tops. And I just thought that
because she was real.
Yes, that's what. Yes, that's why I liked her a lot. I got to talk to Sahara.
Yeah,
I think she's freaking awesome. And I've been her advocate the whole entire season. I'm not sure she knows that or not. But so is there anything as far as closing? Because you really laid a lot on the line, which I do appreciate you being so transparent.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say in closing? And first of all, I'm gonna have this clothing line linked to this interview once I get the
Thank
link.
you. I
So
appreciate that. I definitely
you got
gotta
to
get this
click on
website
it.
together.
I'm gonna put it in the description. So if they want to click on it, check out your brand. First of all, tell them about your brand and what you got going with the clothing line. Let's tell them about that first.
Yeah. The brand is called Love Accordingly. It's something I've been working on since 2017, 2018, something that I hold very close. And Love Accordingly is just simply just, what it says. It's loving everything that you do, but do it according to yourself. We really live in a world now where people doing things that they're doing it for other people or social media and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Love, live, learn everything that you do it according to you, not somebody else. Because that's not gonna make you happy. I will say all my graphics that I have, from my simple love accordingly to my bear to my every graphic has a story within it. I've never shared that. And it's funny because I'll see people wearing, people wear things and don't know
Right.
what it means. Everything that I've created from day one till now has a story to do with each graphic.
Gotcha. And I see
And
that
it's
love
something
and
that I'm
feeling.
still working on, trying to tweak out and get together. I wish, like I said, I wish they'd have aired it and you guys would have really got to see the time that I put into it and stuff like that. But I got the cars that I got because of I couldn't be turned into a puppet.
And see, the thing, well, you have to understand when he says that, I have to be transparent. As a
Yeah.
blogger and journalist, I've had Ready to Love, and I wanted to their names or anything, that
Hmm.
have told me in the past, probably don't remember, I've been just a minute, but they've told me that they were stopped, or maybe an edit wasn't shown, or their brand wasn't shown because they didn't do what's on said. I've been told this before. This is not the first time I've
Yeah.
heard this, and I told Hussein this behind the scenes. And he was just looking at me like I was like, you don't even know how many people have told me this. Your
Yeah.
story is similar.
You know
They
what?
didn't do a scene a certain way. They got upset, and then their edit was horrible. I've heard it
Yeah.
for years.
Let me speak on that a little bit. Like I said, so much was cut, but and like I said, it's not even necessarily my clothing line. It was just I just thought that everything about that production that day, we spent almost 5 hours on this, was dope for y'all to cut it. There were so many dates that were cut, but like I said, if you show all my dates, it makes other people's story not make sense. Because I will say, like, I had you guys you can see it in the trailer, like YouTube exclusives. Me and Sahara had a lot of dope dates.
Yeah.
Y'all got to see a different side of Sahara besides what they were pushing.
Right.
But like I said, if you show those other stories,
Talk about
don't
it.
make sense. Even going towards, and I'm gonna say this, everybody saw me and Deanna date. That was what it was. It was just a big misunderstanding. I get it. You got the cameras, the lights, you hear
Right.
and all of that. I don't have no problem with Deanna. Me and Deanna actually had a good date before that, when it was a double date. It was me, her, Francisco, and Sahara. We had a lot of fun. I wish they would have aired that, but that was another date that was cut, and they just jumped to the horseback riding date. So it made it seem like me and Deanna never even had like a connection or talk. When our first conversation that me and Deanna had was actually at the comedy club. If you pay attention to the background, you see us in the back laughing and joking, having a conversation. That's when I learned that she loved horses and everything. So I set that date up for us. Wow. I really wanted that scene with us. I thought that was dope. I mean, it went left. It is what it is, but hey.
Yeah. But I felt like you were looking for love. I felt like you was genuinely looking for love, and it just didn't go that way for you. Let me ask you a question. How's your dating life now? The show is aired. We have one more part 2 of the reunion coming up. It's obviously the Rose show, but
yeah.
But for you, what's your takeaways as far as dating in real life now and feel it?
My takeaways from it is really just no shade, but I guess ask more direct questions and location and things of that sort. But really just like I said, because that was speed dating, it's just to slow down. I'm glad I went through the process, because it actually, and I'm gonna use this word, it recalibrated me to actually know how to date as a man, like really recalibrated me, because I was just doing anything before that.
Gotcha.
So going through this process, I learned a lot. No, afterward, I haven't implemented it, but I did learn a lot, because I haven't been dating afterwards. That going through that process and just life right now was just kind of actually like just a lot. If I meet somebody and we get the vibing and stuff like that, hey, kudos, let's do it. But I haven't to say been out looking to find somebody.
I want to ask you, did this whole ordeal hurt you? Just me talking to you, behind the scenes and just hearing your voice, things you say, I literally see the hurt. So I'm not you though. So I'm going to ask a question.
I get it.
Was there hurt behind all of this? But between her accusing you this, the way the production, all of it, the whole experience.
Well, with production and stuff like that, it didn't hurt.
Okay.
It just sucks when I'm watching the show and I know what I film versus what I'm seeing aired. like I can go to the date with my homies on it, with the three of us, and we were speaking, and they wanted to highlight my homies speaking about the poly and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, yes.
The stuff, because it's funny because we were having that conversation not knowing that was going to be part of it. That was just like side conversation. We spoke about so much stuff,
Right.
you know, versus what they showed. But I will say, it was a shocker to me when my friend said it as well, and they cut that. I didn't know that. Like, yes, I know he did adult parties and stuff like
Right.
that, but him saying that in that moment was my first time actually hearing those words out his mouth, and I was actually like, oh shoot. You know what I mean? And that, my homie Dre, who spoke on, you know, when we were roommates and stuff like that, that was when we was like 20 years old. That was
Right. Pretty young.
you know,
Right.
20 years ago, we men like that. That's just what it is. So it was a lot of things shown that I'm just like, wait, I didn't say that. I didn't do that, because they put in voiceovers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, me and Angie kick it a lot. There were episode when you see me sitting down and she tells me that I'm still ready to love and continue. That wasn't what happened. That was actually a dope date between me and Angie. We went to a spot out here called Booker's. Shout out to Booker's, nice black-owned restaurant that's out here.
Period.
I wish that they would have showed that date with me and her versus the sound bath, because the sound bath, you got nothing from us because you got to be quiet. It's like
That's true. That's true. That's true.
No sense. You're not going to get to know each other. But that date when we went to Booker's, that's when I got the side of Angie that I wanted. So it don't make sense to people why me and Angie had what we had, because they show what they should have showed.
And see, to me, do you regret even putting, and I'm sorry to say this, putting time in for Rose and not Angie more?
It would be wrong to say regret, but I do wish I would have gave Angie more time, especially during the and not because of anything that happened. This is just
right.
I do wish, especially during the getaway, that I would have gave Angie more time, because like I said, I get to see a totally different person outside of, you know, this with her. But then, like I said, when you jump to the reunion, you asked me, am I hurt behind that? Yeah.
The reunion,
it stung. It really stung, and it stung in a moment, and it stings again to see it live. Because like I said, my family and stuff got to see it, even though it's not true. It's still just kind of like, damn, like that's what we resorted to.
Speaking about your family, like I said, even for me, I'm a blogger, journalist. When I do things, my family will call me and say, "Oh, I saw your interview." They do that. It's a normal thing. When this reunion came out, how much did your phone ring and text?
Man, the next morning I woke up, I want to say honestly, besides when I was hooping, that was probably the most my phone ever blew up. And but it wasn't negative. It was all my friends and stuff, and people that don't even know me, like they know me but don't personally know me.
Gotcha.
Making light joke of it in comedy, like especially a lot of my like homie friends or whatever.
Right.
They ain't never been arrested. Like, do they know you? Like, where they even like? Come on now. And it was just kind of like those. So, shout out to
cool.
you know, all my friends and stuff like that for
you
know, reaching out and giving that, because I definitely needed that morning. Like I was okay, but that definitely, like I said, lightened the load, because like I said, I knew what happened at the reunion.
Right.
You don't know what's going to air, but I thought the worst.
That's
because
true.
like I said, watching the show, I'm not seeing anything that I really did. Especially like with the voiceovers and stuff like that. I don't like that at all. It was a lot of voiceovers with the even the part with me saying that it was a deal breaker with with Rose. I feel like because they made it happen, made it look like I said it so much, and I didn't. Actually, one of the times where I was asked, was it a deal breaker, was when, and we spent the whole hour on this, was when we was speaking about, you know, and not to bring her up, Kiara's situation or whatever.
Right.
Tommy went around the whole room to ask every guy how they felt about it. This is why I say like the break didn't help us, because now it gets lost. You know what I mean? So now when it comes back up, it make it just seem like me and her just had this issue and I just dropped her. And that wasn't the case. But had they shown me speak on it, how I felt about it in the vote, you know, just saying that if it's something that comes along, hey, I'll deal with it. But if you're asking me personally, is this something that I want to deal with in a relationship? No, it's a deal breaker. So then if I said that, then I can't go back into the vote later and now I'm okay with it, because now I'm being fake. And I didn't come for that.
But your deal breaker wasn't even that. Your deal breaker was things that was altering her in her system. So the thing about it is, do you think that they went for that narrative because they were trying to hide that? It's easier to push.
Honestly, at this point,
became a villain.
What was going on? I don't know, honestly. Honestly,
because you became a big. Well, I mean, I know reality TV.
Yeah,
you make a narrative.
If going to go live, I would love to hear her truth. But I felt like Rose, and another reason why I did, you know, go towards her, because I felt like she was being real. So I hope that none of her stuff was to say puppet master and they were feeding her whatever to
Gotcha.
do whatever. I hope not, because like I said, I was drawn to her because I felt like she was, she was real. I can go back to the first day with Rose, and we were sitting down, and this was something that I had mentioned to her, and she told me she forgot. And I was just like, damn. But she had showed me a picture of her when we were sitting down, and I looked at the picture, and it was just a picture of her, just natural,
right?
With a fro and stuff like that. And that was the moment where she got me. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That was when she got me. And I noticed after I had said that to her, then she started coming that way. So pat on the back to me, shout out to me. But
so silly.
She had spoke about that later, and I had asked her about it, and she was like, "You did?" I was just kind of like, whatever. But like I said, it was the realness that I saw in her in that conversation that drew me to her.
Well, I love that for you, and it's unfortunate what actually happened during the reunion and even during the season. And I'm happy you were able to come on here and speak your truth, regardless of what anybody says after this. I'm even loving how you talk about how you and Sahara are super cool. I gotta talk to her. I got to talk to Sahara. How you and her were super cool. And how even you and Angie are cool, because I even liked Angie, even with the windows busted, all that.
Like I said, we kick it. The three of us would be here all the time. You see, I just posted. We were here, taking shots, and we talk out trash and stuff like that, and then we go about our business. It ain't nothing at all. It's just straight friendship.
I probably like the two of them because my mouth is crazy, so that's probably why I would get along right with.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, Hussein, you are a gentleman, and I can say even my experience talking to you and how you're very much a gentleman. You showed that on the show. It's unfortunate for me as a Black woman. Yeah. I'm a girl's girl, all those things or whatever, but I was raised by a man as well. So for me, I'm gonna look out for a Black man. And for me, I've researched it. He has not been in jail. For most of you bloggers and journalists who are saying he's a criminal, do the research first,
right? Before
then you talk.
Like, so I can say that. Can I just say this?
Go ahead.
Let's cut this Black on Black crime. It's ridiculous. Black to you too. Let's cut the Black on Black crime, because like you don't personally know me, so for you to take what you see on TV and just think that that's that, and you speak on it, and like I said, you can speak on what you see on TV, but speak on it lightly. Don't speak on it so heavy like it's fact.
A lot of these bloggers are saying, well, I don't watch it, but I know you told me some people are saying things and calling you names or whatever. Do you want to address, not saying name, do you want to address anybody about the things you've heard so far since the reunion?
If it's one person, because I watch what's his name, Little Black Book. I watch his a lot, and I think it's a guy named Black that's on there. He has you would think that we personally know each other, and I kind of take it personal, like, damn, Black, you're dark skinned. Oh, I mean a curse. Oh, but why are you so focused on me? Like, he always just got something, like he can't wait to speak on me, and you don't know me.
Interesting.
So kind of keep, like I said, keep it, let's use the Ready to Love, keep it lighthearted. When you don't know the facts, and like I said, you're just speaking when you're speaking on another person that you, like I said, you don't know.
Okay, keep it lighthearted. I just caught that. That was cute. Okay.
Listen, I'm very strategic. It's nothing like I try to think ahead with things and stuff like that. I'm very strategic in the things that I do, and I brought that along with the show. I mean, I was just it was a lot of thinking that had to be involved in this. So, like I said, when people get to saying certain things that they say, well, your friends, this and this and that, and it was something he said where, I'm gonna say this. It was a date where I had with Angie.
Okay.
And I met her, and this goes to show like my respect factor. When I met Angie's baby father, when I first walked into the date, I just thought it was an ex.
Okay.
Like how I met Rose's ex.
Right.
Hey, what's up, man? Blah, blah, blah. Because this is not a person I got to deal with. All right, I'm just meeting an ex. When I sat down and found out that it was actually the baby father, yes, it's a different respect factor that has to go on top of it, because this would be a person that I would have to deal with if me and her work out, because that's father. So when I was joking around and I said, oh, I'm nervous and blah, 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 that was actually because when I sat down with him, they cut this out, but I had asked him, I was like, how you feeling? I said, and I was like, did she tell you about this or whatever? He actually told me that he just found out the day before about him coming on. So I could see that he was nervous. So that was why I said that. It had nothing to do with me being nervous. Like, as a man, like, why would I be nervous? But that's where it goes to say where people just seeing what they're seeing and talking so hard on it. Like, nah, like, chill out, bro.
Wow.
The Black on Black crime, it ain't it.
So, y'all, I'm gonna make sure I have his link in the description for this live. So you guys can make sure, for interviews, you guys can follow and check out his brand, because, like I said, the brother is hustling, he's grinding. We want to support Black businesses at the end of the day, right? Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna keep on going up like we all are going. And I just really appreciate taking the time out. Look, I know that people will come and be crazy. What I said about Rose and people know about me, I really don't care.
Yeah, no,
Because
no, I feel like we kept it light. It was
no,
just
no, no,
me.
no, no. My own separate
This
commentary.
could have been. Let me say,
No, no,
this could
no,
be
no,
a
no,
totally
no,
different
no, no.
conversation.
Hussein, no, no, no. I'm saying what I said
Yeah, what you
on my
said.
live yesterday. So I don't
Okay.
care. I don't care.
But like
So
I said today, this conversation here could have been a totally different
oh,
conversation.
it could
But we
have.
the way we need to do it.
I'm a professional, but
Yeah,
everybody can read between the lines. You are pretty intelligent. You guys can figure it out.
yeah.
Now, if they do a ghetto live after this, it is what it is. All I say is know that I do respond if my name is being said. That's all I'm gonna tell you. And y'all know me. I will respond, and it probably will be ugly. So just don't do that. All
Yeah,
right.
your boy can communicate. I'm very smart. I did go to Penn State. That group home mess, don't let that fool you. That was
Oh
just
no, you can tell
a
you're very
yeah, you know what I
intelligent,
mean? That
very
was just
astute.
a time in my life. I actually got up out that group home and right up out of there. I left from there and went straight to Penn State. So cut it out.
Yes,
You
yes.
know
Yeah,
what
I
I mean?
love
Like
that
what
for
we
you.
doing?
The thing about you can tell you're smart. Like I said,
Yeah.
your dialect, the way you carry yourself, the whole thing, you can tell you're very intelligent and astute. So that was shown. Even how
Yeah.
you were very classy with shoes on your face, da 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 da. You just like, okay, bro, how did you do that without
Yeah.
going
You know,
in?
when things are lie, just as a man, I don't think that should shake you. Just let that person get off what they trying to get off, and you figure it out later.
I get that. I understand that. I feel you
Or
on
you
that.
just allow them to do what they're doing and they expose their own hand.
Again, a gentleman, classy, the way he
Yeah.
handled things compared to what was thrown in his face.
Woo.
The crash out. I feel like that he handled himself very, very well. Well, part two is coming up, guys.
Yeah.
Next Friday, I'll be live Saturday with the whole crew, including Chaz. We're gonna talk about it. I'm assuming I heard more mess and more Rose the show will be next Saturday. So I mean, sorry, next Friday. So
Yeah, we
Hussein,
gonna see. Like I
you,
said, I don't know what they put together, but so all
yeah,
we
that's
see
the
is
crazy
watch.
thing. You don't know. That's the crazy part. You don't know what's gonna
Yeah,
show.
you don't, and that's very wild. Like what you film, but you sit and you watch something totally different.
Hmm.
That's mind blowing.
Any final words? Any final words before we end this?
Nah, I'm done with this. I'm putting it to bed.
All right.
I don't even want to join the circus, the silliness.
All right, yeah, we are leaving the circus. This is Kamisha Reviews, the Queen of Reality TV. Hussein, how can they follow you on social media? What is it under?
What's my IG? I am Hussein Edmonds. Yep. I am Hussein.
His name is right here.
Huseien, and then Edmonds, Edmonds.
All right, y'all. With that being said, it's Kamisha Reviews, Queen of Reality TV. We are done for the day. Hold on.